Imagine you're standing at a busy intersection. Morning traffic is moving as usual. Cars wait at a red light. People cross the street without thinking twice. Then, Earth stops spinning. What happens? Most people imagine the ground splitting open, or skyscrapers collapsing. Some even think gravity would suddenly disappear. But all of those are wrong, because for a brief moment, nothing seems different. The buildings are still standing. The road is still beneath your feet. The traffic lights are still hanging above the intersection. So, did Earth actually stop? Yes, you're just looking at the wrong thing. Don't watch the buildings. Watch that parked car. It shouldn't move. The engine is off. Nobody's inside. Yet it slowly begins sliding across the street. No one pushed it. No invisible force appeared. So why is it moving? Because it never actually stopped. That sounds impossible, but you're already moving right now. Not because you're walking, because Earth has been carrying you ever since you were born. Everything on the surface has been traveling east together. The roads, the buildings, the cars, even you. You never noticed because everything around you was moving at exactly the same speed. The moment Earth stopped, only the ground stopped. The car kept the speed it already had. That's inertia. An object in motion keeps moving unless another force slows it down. Now, look around. It's not just one car anymore. Every parked vehicle begins drifting. Motorcycles, buses, delivery trucks, even trains continue moving along the direction Earth had been rotating. Drivers instinctively hit the brakes. Would that stop them? Not immediately. Friction creates momentum, but removing momentum takes both time and distance. A car traveling at highway speed can't stop instantly. Now imagine trying to stop something moving even faster. Near the equator, Earth's rotation carries everything at nearly 1,670 kilometers per hour. No braking system was ever designed for that. Cars slide through intersections. Highways become chains of collisions. Vehicles crash into buildings that never moved at all. But wait, if the cars kept moving, why didn't the buildings? Look across the street. The skyscraper hasn't shifted even a centimeter. How is that possible? Because the building is anchored directly to Earth's crust. When the crust stopped, the building stopped with it. But everything inside the building was still moving. Office chairs slide across polished floors. Computers fly from desks. Books scatter through the air. Glass shatters as furniture crashes into windows. The building survives the first second. The people inside experience something completely different. And this isn't happening in one office. It's happening in every apartment, every hospital, every school, every airport. Wherever something isn't firmly attached, inertia takes over. At this point, it feels like you've seen the worst. Cars are crashing. Buildings are filled with flying debris. Surely that's the disaster. But you've forgotten something. Something much bigger than every car, every building, and every city on Earth. Look up. The sky still looks perfectly calm. That's what makes the next few seconds so terrifying, because the atmosphere hasn't had time to respond.
For a moment, nothing changes. The sky is still blue. The clouds haven't moved. It almost feels like the disaster is over. Then, a newspaper slides across the road, not because a car pushed it, because the air did. At first, it's barely noticeable. Loose leaves begin tumbling along the sidewalk. Dust lifts into the air. Plastic bags dance between abandoned cars. It doesn't look dangerous. In fact, it almost looks normal. So why is that happening? Because the atmosphere is still moving. Just like the cars, the air had been traveling with Earth's rotation this entire time. When Earth stopped, the air didn't. Unlike cars, though, you can't see air moving. You only notice it when it pushes something else. Watch the trees. Their leaves begin trembling. Then the branches sway. A few seconds later, the trunks begin bending. Now watch the traffic lights. They aren't just swinging anymore, they're leaning. The wind is getting stronger. But how strong? Imagine driving down a highway. Stick your hand out of the window. At 100 kilometers per hour, the air already pushes hard against your hand. Now multiply that speed, again and again, until the air is moving more than 10 times faster. The atmosphere isn't creating the wind. The atmosphere is the wind. Every second, billions of tons of air are still trying to move east, while the ground beneath them has already stopped. That's why the wind keeps getting stronger, not weaker. The roar arrives next. At first, it sounds distant, like an approaching storm. Then it grows louder, louder than the traffic, louder than the crashing cars, until it's the only thing you can hear. People instinctively cover their ears. Some try to run. But run where? The wind is everywhere. Street signs begin shaking violently. Tree branches snap. Construction barriers tumble across the road. Small pieces of debris race through the streets. Nothing heavy yet, just enough to make everyone realize this isn't ordinary weather, and it's getting worse. Here's the frightening part. The atmosphere is enormous. It weighs about 5.1 quadrillion tons. That much air can't change direction instantly. It needs time, which means every second after Earth stops, the atmosphere falls farther behind. And the faster it tries to catch up, the stronger the wind becomes. So if this is only the beginning, how strong will it become? Look down the street. The trees are no longer bending, they're almost horizontal. Windows begin rattling, then one shatters, then another, then another. People dive for cover as glass scatters across the sidewalks. The real storm has finally arrived, and it hasn't even reached its full strength yet. The next few minutes won't just bring powerful winds, they'll bring winds unlike anything Earth has ever experienced. Fortunately, this was only a thought experiment. If you enjoyed this impossible scenario, leave a like and subscribe for more realistic what-if survival stories. And tell us in the comments, what impossible scenario should we do next? Your idea could become the next episode of Survival Sketch. Until then, stay curious.